Very good morning to all of you. Namaskar. And good morning, Sarita ma'am. I'm so glad you have given me this opportunity to speak on AI and early childhood care and education. I am indeed very happy that I'll be representing Savitribai Phule, National Institute of Women and Child Development. We are an autonomous organization. We are working under the aegis of Women and Child Development. And today I invite all of you. We are into a journey into future of early childhood, and where we see that how our ancient wisdom meets with modern intelligence. Next. Our topic today is integration of AI in early childhood care and education, transforming early childhood service delivery. Again, to reiterate, myself, Dr. Rita Patnaik from SPNIWCD Indore, and it is my privilege to walk you through this exciting landscape. We will be exactly seeing how artificial intelligence is reshaping the way we nurture our children, how we educate our children and care for our youngest citizens, children from birth to 8 years of age as per NEP 2020, but as per the ICDS, we are catering to 0 to 6 years children. And as our Honorable Prime Minister has always said that, to achieve this Viksit Bharat vision, we cannot go without leaving our youngest citizens, and that is the 0 to 6 years, which is so very crucial for development and foundation of the country. Now coming to, let us begin with the foundation, an introduction to early childhood care and education, what we call it as ECCE. And before we talk about I think so all of us must understand that the world it is being asked to transform. Let's understand the world first, and then we think what to transform. Why do early years matter so profoundly? All of us know science has given us a clear answer, right? We can see that early childhood is the period from birth to 8 years, and it is one of the most critical phases for human development. And the latest tone which sets up this concept is the fact that 90% of brain development is always occurs by the age of 6 and 80% by the age of 3. And you can see that these are not just statistics. These are actually windows of opportunity that once closed are very difficult to reopen. That means once 6 years is gone, I think so we have left the milestones behind. So are we really aware of what kind of environment, what kind of nutrition, what kind of education are we imparting to the child so that they meet the foundation? Now you can see that the National Education Policy, all of us are aware about the National Education Policy 2020, which has placed ECC right in the forefront of India's education vision. And we can see that we talk of holistic development of the child. And you can see how important, it is the significance of ECC, where, we talk about physical, we talk about cognitive, socio-emotional, all these development of the children. And for the 0 to 6 years, it is not to teach, but it is only through play-based method what we can impart learning in children. And in this, every element you see in the slide, maybe it could be synaptic connections, it could be sensitive periods, it could be child-friendly classrooms, all of them come together in this first precious years. Coming to a bit of national education policy and the path-breaking movement for ECC in India, we can see that this is the transforming curricular and pedagogical structure which NEP has provided us.
To interrupt you, ma'am. Ma'am, please can you make it in slideshow mode?
Okay. Now it's fine?
Yes, ma'am, it's fine now. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So as all of us know that for the first time, foundational learning as per NEP 2020, it has been formalized for children from 3 to 8 years. And following this, the National Curriculum Framework of 2022, which is released in 2022, also provides structured guidance for this age group. Now, NEP 2020 mandates universal access, free and high quality education of early childhood care and education at the Anganwadi system also. And you can see that there is a pre-preparatory class which is called as Balvatika, and ensuring that every child is truly school ready when at the age of 6 years. So this is the transforming curricular and pedagogical structure, where you can see that the new academic structure, we have now the curriculum much more focusing from 3 years of age, and the structure having a change in the national education policy. And coming to the ECC and the policy context, I have been involved with the ICDS for nearly 20 years with the ICDS system, and right through with the nutrition component and the ECC component in the policy context. You can just see that India's ECC policy journey has been very, very remarkable and accelerating. You can see in the slide that from the National ECC policy of 2013 by the Ministry of Women and Child Development, where we had a National ECC curriculum framework of the ministry in 2013, through NEP 2020, through NCFS this thing 2022, and the transformative Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi initiative. This is launched in 2023, and I am leading the Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi in the entire country for all the states and the UTs across the country. Each milestone has been strengthening our commitment. The Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi initiative is actually a training component of 3 days for on the both the Poshan and Padhai concept together. And in this context, I would like to say that under the Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi initiative, in the round one, we have already trained nearly 42,000 state level master trainers. And as on date, nearly 11 lakh Anganwadi workers have already been trained on the Poshan and Padhai concept. You can understand that how deeply there is a connection between nutrition and early learning, where we know that the brain development is completely dependent on the nutrition aspect as well. If the child is hungry, he cannot learn. If the child is anemic, the learning goes slow. So how strongly there is a connection between the nutrition, and that is the Poshan and the Padhai. So this is being reiterated in the program for Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi. And we can see that most recently, to strengthen the initiative of Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi and also the National Education Policy and NCFFS, we have in the ministry now come up with two major landmarks. I have been a member secretary of in the preparation of both the documents. One, I would like to say that all the participants who are here, please, you can see our website and download these documents. We have got Adharshila of 2024 and Navchetna. Now I'll take you to this Navchetna and Adharshila also, because all of you must be aware that now in the country from 2024 onwards, we have a national curriculum for children for 3 to 6 years. That means day-to-day activity-wise, we have got a schedule of 48 weeks curriculum for Anganwadi centers, where they exactly know how, in play-based method, how the pedagogy would be and how they would transact, ECC along with nutrition in the Anganwadi centers. So this is all the journey of ECC, where, with the policy and other things, and now finally with the Palna scheme, with the Anganwadi protocol for Divyang children, and the landmark Adharshila and Navchetna, right? And another major landmark for ICDS system would be the Poshan Tracker. This year, we have received the first award from Honorable Prime Minister of India for the most digital digital application in the country. So Poshan Tracker, Adharshila, Navchetna, Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi, all these together, we are spearheading the ECC in the country. Now, as this is a little bit of basics, because we have students also, we have other participants also. What I would like to mention here is that the NCF foundational stage has given us a very, very rich curriculum with 6 domains of learning. What is the basics? What we teach in home science is the 6 basic domains of learning and the 13 curricular goals. once we understand the domains of learning and the 6 curricular goals, then we are very, very, we know what is the outcome, what we actually want. And this is not classroom teaching, but it is, playway method. It is a very different kind of energy what we give to the children in 0 to 6 years instead of formal education, and where we talk of all these domains of development. These span across physical, socio-emotional, ethical, language, positive learning habits. In this context, I would like to say that there is another very important concept where we talk about, gender, where, these gender habits are formed from the early years of development. So how important is this 0 to 6 years of age, where it can totally transform the lives of our children for the foundation of the country. So now I think it is a very big responsibility for all the stakeholders. It is not only Anganwadi, but it is also the parents, the community, everyone who are, in the caregiving aspect, take a lead in this manner so that we have a strong foundation for the country. All these things look simple, but when it comes into action and when it comes into activities, when it comes into translation into activities and how the children and understanding their brain, it is a tough job. Now, coming to the two documents, what I would like to mention here, these are the two documents which are already have been transacted with the states. One is the Adharshila. Please, I would request all of you to go through these documents. It is a repository. I can tell it is a Bible for ECC, where, you have a very, very big curriculum, where you have day-to-day activity schedule, completely book for Adharshila, which is for 3 to 6 years. Another very important document which I would like to mention here is the Navchetna. For the first time in the country, we have a document which is Navchetna, which is a national framework for early childhood stimulation. For example, for 0 to 3 years, what would we teach the children? Isn't it? We cannot teach anything to the children. It is only 3 concepts or principles, that is play. Either we can play with the children, we can love the children, or we can talk to the children. But since 80% of brain development is formed by the age of 3, are we in a position to provide them such good stimulation at home, such good stimulation at Anganwadi centers, such good stimulation by Dada, Dadi, Nana, Nani, whoever is the caregiver? Are we in a position that, we stimulate their brains to that capacity that the neurons, 80% of brain development, what we envisage is truly taken for? So this is Navchetna. Another, in this we have got 36 weeks. We have got for 0 to 3 years, every week we have provided a stimulation activity. I would request all of you to go through this document. You can see that for a 6-month-old child, what are the activities which can stimulate the brain? For a 12-month-old, what is the activity? 2 years, what? 3 years. So you can see this is a complete pen picture of stimulatory activities from 0 to 3 years. So again, I would like to reiterate that Adharshila and Navchetna, these are the backbone for us for the program on Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi and for early childhood care and education in the country. Now coming to the Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi initiative, which I am leading across the country for all the states and UTs, where we have already trained 11 lakh Anganwadi workers and 42,000 SLMTs have been trained. This is a landmark program for all of us. And if you see that India's Anganwadi Center, which is one of the world's largest public provider of early childhood services, as on date, you can see that we have 14 lakh Anganwadi centers across the country, and the total coverage under the Anganwadi centers is 10.5 crores. 10.5 crores beneficiaries, among whom 8 crore plus children are 0 to 6 years. If you see the entire universe of ICDS as on date, we are catering to nearly 10.5 crore beneficiaries, in which 8 plus are for 0 to 6 years and 2.5 crores are pregnant and lactating mothers under ICDS. With such a big force working under us, you can understand that nearly, if we have 14 lakh Anganwadi centers with us, we have 14 lakh Anganwadi workers, we have 14 lakh Anganwadi helpers, we have got nearly 7,076 ICDS projects. That means one CDPO per project, you have 7,076 CDPOs. We have got supervisors, around 60,000 supervisors. and Anganwadi workers and DPOs, and at state level we have got WCD departments with us. So such a big force of people all together working for only one cause, that is improving the nutritional status of health and women and children across the country. How big is up this program? All of you can imagine that all these big fours working for a common cause. And now with NEP 2020, I am so happy that the Anganwadi Center, which was earlier known as Dalia Center or Khichdi Center, now the focus has suddenly shifted on the Anganwadi worker, where she is thought of as an Anganwadi teacher, and where she has to deliver education as well in a qualitative manner. So when this amount of pressure is there on the Anganwadi worker, can AI be integrated into the system so that we don't wish to replace the Anganwadi worker, but can AI empower her to, give her duties very aptfully? So that is the question all about. Now, this is the status. You can see that there are challenges. Certainly, there are challenges in ECC in the country, where early childhood care and education, it is not only the domain of Ministry of Women and Child Development, where we have restricted ourselves to only Anganwadi centers, but we have Ministry of Education with us, where we have NEP 2020, where we have National Curriculum Framework, NCF FS 2022, and for the holistic development of the child, the 6 services of ICDS. 3 services with our own, and 3 services in convergence with the health department, where we talk of immunization, referral and other services where ANM, ASHA, doctor, all of them are involved. So you can see that we are facing unequal access between rural and urban areas. This is all the areas why I have indicated, so that we can integrate AI in all these spaces. There are quality gaps in teaching and learning processes, a limited training for workforce. We have infrastructure issues, we have resource constraints, and of course, one of the most important components in all our program is the weak monitoring and assessment systems. We start programs very efficiently, but we fail when it comes to monitoring and assessment systems. Can we strengthen our AI? Can AI be used for actually monitoring and strengthening our systems? I think so. That is the main use of AI. So all the 3 ministries, all of us working together for one common goal, holistic development of the child, and Ministry of Women and Child Development, of course, catering to nearly 8 crore children. That is if you see 8 crore children, we have 8 crore brains. We have the responsibility of 8 crore foundation of 8 crore brains. Are we in a position that, in the 4 hours ECC, what we actually intend in the Anganwadi centers every day, are we in a position that we are empowering the Anganwadi workers so that we help in the brain development of these children, in the neuron branching of neurons in these children, and connecting of neuron dots and other things? This is the main issue. Now, the main topic, of course, what we turn to the heart of the today's presentation, and as Dr. Sarita Srivastava said, that AI is the topic today, and we are in with AI, and we cannot say we won't go with AI. Now we have to go with AI because it has numerous possibilities. It has numerous other things. One thing that we should not make it our master, right? We should be the master, and we should use AI for our benefits. So this is how we can understand AI. That is integration of artificial intelligence in ECCE, connecting the dots. AI is not a distance promise, actually. If you see, already we are all using AI, and we are thinking that we are not using AI, but AI is a part of our life anyhow. All of us are already using AI, and let's see how it is we are using and how it is transforming our lives. Now, coming for instance, for the example of Ministry of Women and Child Development, all of us are aware about the Poshan Tracker, right? This Poshan Tracker application, now we have every Anganwadi worker, that means 14 lakh Anganwadi worker in the country. Every Anganwadi worker has got a mobile in her hand, and she has got a Poshan Tracker application uploaded on it. That means at the core of our tech infrastructure is the Poshan Tracker. This is a real-time digital platform which is available that connects every Anganwadi worker to the supervisor, to the district, to the state, and even at the central level to the ministry. You can see that through this single platform, Anganwadi workers are actually, they are capturing and uploading service data at every level. You can see that Anganwadi worker is in the center and how, our entire universe is functioning. I told you 0 to 6 years, we have 8 crore children. Pregnant and lactating mothers, around 2.5 crore children. Apart from this, we have another program which is called as Scheme for Adolescent Girls, SAG, which is now in aspirational districts across the country, where we are covering from 14 to 18 years girls in the adolescent age group. And for them all together on the outer cover, you can see we have supervisor, CDPO and DPO. So this is again, you can see the figures I have taken today, the latest figures from the Poshan Tracker, where 36 UTs, 781 districts, 7235 projects, 52,000 sectors, Anganwadi centers 14 lakh, Anganwadi workers in position, nearly 13.36 in the country, and eligible beneficiaries. You can see that huge universe in the ICDS system. And I think so this is a great opportunity for all of us, that having such a great big universe, can we integrate AI for empowering the entire system? Where else you would find such an opportunity for integration of AI rather than ICDS? I think so this is a very, very big opportunity, window of opportunity for all of us to integrate at every level. Now, coming to some of the examples I would like to take to all of you. Now, this is the interactive, you can see that some of the interactive spaces, learning spaces for children. Let us understand that in the country already we are using AI in many forums. And coming to early childhood care and education, one of the examples what I would like to give you here is from NCERT. All of you might have heard about the eMagic Box, the AI learning app. This eMagic Box, which integrates AI bots, games and stories to create interactive early learning environment for children aged 3 to 8 years. This is all aligned with the foundational literacy and numeracy goals, what we call it as FLN, right? Another important learning language, what we all know, is the Vadhvani AI, or the oral reading frequency, ORF. It is an AI powered tool that assesses children, which mainly, it is a tool which focuses, listens to children aloud. The children are asked to read aloud and uses speech recognition. Automatically, AI will catch you, and it will be able to analyze the accuracy, speed, and errors in real time. And it will enable the teachers to identify gaps and provide targeted support. You can understand how important, we earlier never thought of this, but now a simple video taken for a young child, and it can recognize how we can improve our children's speech abilities. If there is any delay or anything, immediately it will give an indication. So this is what is the Vadhvani OI, oral reading frequency, ORF. Another important AI in the learning ecosystems, if you see, is the XStep Foundation. This is the AXL assisted language and math learning device. This is mainly AI based diagnostics to identify each child's individual's learning gaps, and then provide personalized practice through chatbots, school learning assistants, and teacher support systems. So personalized learning at scale at government schools, this is all the power of AI. Did we all ever imagine at our stage, when we were into classroom teaching? And nothing can replace classroom teaching. That I always tell. Classroom teaching will be always there, but can all the additional, superficial works which doesn't require our energy, can we give it to AI? That human touch can always remain. Human touch has to be, but all the irrelevant works, all the data works, all other works of compiling, reporting, and all other things which take time, can that be replaced by AI? And that is where we can use AI. Now, coming to detection of developmental delays. All of you are aware that we have got a Divyang protocol for children, mainly, for the disabled children, or what we call them Divyang children. And we have got a disability screening schedule also. just understand the importance of AI for these children, where, machine learning in this, research from Harvard and Stanford Medical School, they have already started using these applications, AI tools for identification of developmental delays. In the world where we talk so much of inclusion, where we talk of Divyang children, it is very important that AI, if we help in early screening of developmental delays in the children, and such studies have already been conducted in Bangladesh also, in Dhaka Sishu Children's Hospital, where you can see that they have achieved nearly 76% accuracy and sensitivity. So I put the sources also. All of you can, go through these studies where you can understand that how far we are just beginning with AI, and the world has already, they have done so much of innovations with AI. So this is the innovation from Harvard and Stanford. And I've already talked about the Vadhvani oral reading, this thing. Now coming to the parental and the community initiatives, this is what I would like to say, that not only the government but also civil society work organizations, there are many organizations who are really integrating tech and AI into the system. So it is I'll come into the three types of AI. Now coming to Rocket Learning, this is another NGO who is working in the field of ECCE. They have got their presence felt in nearly 11 to 12 states across the country, and they are imparting a program which is called as the Smart Balwadi program. This is a tech-enabled ECCE initiative. This is totally a WhatsApp-based AI intervention, where you can understand that AI is already all of us are using, and through WhatsApp-based, where every Anganwadi, every sector has a WhatsApp group, and how easy it is connecting the dots. So they are now transacting ECCE through WhatsApp-based groups, whereby videos, other nudges are being supported to the Anganwadi workers. Coming to learning the language, there is another civil society organization which is called as the Square Panda India. This is now they are using this AI powered initiative to actively involve parents, teachers, and stakeholders, making parents genuine partners in the children's early literacy journeys. And the Center Square Foundation, I have been to many of the programs, very, very enabled, civil society organization working in the field of ECCE. They have come up with a program which is called as AI Samarth, which is tech-enabled foundation literacy and numeracy assessments. So you can see that they have been working on assessments. How can we actually, it is very tough, for a standard 1 child, you can give marking to the child, you can grade the child as ABC, pass, fail. But for 0 to 6 years child, we don't have that competency to assess any child or tell that any child is poor or, bad, or A grade, B grade, C grade. So, assessment in these children is the only we can say that, they need improvement, or they can still improve in this developmental domain and other things. So AI can be used in a very, very big method in assessment, assessing children from 0 to 6 years. So from this slide, it is very clear that AI works the best when we connect. How do we get it? When we connect with the children, when we connect it with the parents, when we connect it with the teacher, and all together with the system. I thought, since we have students with us, so ma'am, I thought that I should integrate a bit of AI techniques also, and how AI works, so that all of us has an understanding of how AI actually works in the ECCI ecosystem. This is a slide for all of you, where 3 core technologies are actually involved at play. Okay, when we talk of AI, there are 3 core technologies. One is your machine learning, second is your natural language processing, and the third is your data analytics. Right? Any form of AI, what we use will fall into these 3 types of categories. For example, if you see the data analytics, I could tell you that it is the Poshan Tracker, where we have data every day through the Poshan Tracker application. 14 lakh Anganwadi workers, they gave their data, and finally we have got the data analytics in terms of raw data. We have got insights into reports. Now coming to machine learning, you could understand that this enables the system to learn from the data, identify patterns, and make predictions. And coming to the language processing, you can allow AI to understand, interpret, or generate human language in the text or speech. Now, the integration of all these three is very, very important for in terms of outcomes in ECCE, for personalized learning teaching, early detection of disabilities, for empowering teachers, and data driven policy and policy decisions. For in simple words, I've just mentioned below, all of you can see machine learning learns from data, NLP understands from language, and data analytics finds insights. Together they power AI to make ECCE smarter, inclusive, and impactful. I hope this slide is clear to all of you. That is how AI integrates machine learning, natural language processing, and data analytics in the context of ECCE. Now, this is the three-layer smart flow, which I already told you. All of us should have an insight into this whenever we talk of AI and integration into the system, where it is a three-layer system. Though I have, okay, the first one you can see, the first layer is the data analytics, answering the question. If it is data analytics, it is answering the question of what is happening. It tracks the child data, health, nutrition, attendance, learnings. It identifies the gaps and needs supports for better planning, right? If you see tools like Portion Tracker, dashboard tracks child health, nutrition, attendance, learning data, identifies gaps. The second most important component of your AI is your machine learning, where we are answering what will happen. For example, all of you are aware about the academies like Khan Academy. They are, going wild across the system, where everybody is talking about Khan Academy. We have got Byju's use pattern, Byju's Academy, and all of these use recognition to predict future analysis, where machine learning is the key. And the third layer is the natural language processing, where how children learn and communicate. This is very important for all of us, because now NEP 2020 says that early childhood care and education should be provided in the mother tongue language for the 0 to 6 years. So how do we translate, our curriculum Adharshila Navchetna into the local language? This is where AI could help us in a very, very big way, where language, speech, and communication, where we have this Google Read Along, where, it can translate the language into any local language. Now, the simple flow for AI, as all of you can see, is data, insights, prediction, and better learning experience. So for all the students here, you can see that AI functions in three layers. It is your data analytics, it is your machine learning, and your natural language processing. All of three have to be integrated in the system to bring an impact in early childhood care and education. Now, coming to the artificial intelligence for Anganwadi workers, let us see how do we focus on our frontline workers, Anganwadi helpers. If you see, these are the actual women who are delivering early childhood care and education, nutrition, health services to millions of children, often working alone with limited resources in challenging conditions. If you talk to any Anganwadi worker, you will just realize how much burdened are they. They are also doing animal husbandry. They are also, into elections. They are also with the local political situations. They are imparting nutrition. They are with the community. They are doing Jan Andolan. And now we are expecting them to deliver, high class focus ECC also 4 hours. Are they super women? Yeah, so can AI help them to become superwomen? That is the question. That can we, use AI to empower our Anganwadi workers mainly, so that we can see how AI can support them but not burden them, right? And once again, I would like to reiterate that this is AI cannot replace human or human touch. It cannot replace Anganwadi worker or that human feel or touch. It is only AI to empower our people for betterment. Now, how tech can actually support Anganwadi workers? You can see that AI can support Anganwadi workers in a very, very, very big way. And this support, you can see that it can be for early childhood care and education. It could be for nutrition, health services, and mainly with the Portion Tracker in hand, I think so there would be very, very good integration of AI into ECC, not only ECC, but all the components, all the 6 components of ICDS, that is so supplementary nutrition, preschool education, nutrition and health education, and the other three services, of course, the services with the health department, referral, immunization and support, what we are rendering through ICDS. You can see that the first and the foremost important point where tech can enable Anganwadi workers is for child assessment and early identification, where now Divyang, talking of Divyang and inclusion in a very big way. I think so AI would be really helpful, where we had talked of earlier interventions where they have been using AI. We can see that for early detection and identification of delays, developmental delays, AI could be used. And now coming to growth monitoring in the Poshan tracker, you can see that we have got stunting, wasting, underweight, all the measurements being taken. But under stunting, wasting, they have to take the height and weight. But this is always a question mark. Are the Anganwadi workers trained to take, exact height and weight measurements? So now, there are some AI apps coming up in which, if you take a photograph of the child, automatically, it can convert it, say the exact measurements of height and weight of the child. So such kind of interventions and technology can be integrated into the system. And where we talk about severely acute management of severely acute malnutrition, moderately SAM-MAM children, I think so it will be of great help. The third is the digitization of record keeping. All of you know that earlier in the ICDS system, we had nearly 12 records in register. Now Poshan Tracker has replaced all of them with only one physical register. So now digitization of record keeping, Poshan, all those tiresome and waste work can be delegated to AI. So that our Anganwadi workers can put their time into meaningfully into much more better things. I think so that is the key. And lesson planning. Of course, Poshan Bhi, Padhai Bhi, we are training the Anganwadi workers. How do they take the, activities? How do they conduct ECCE? How do they conduct the, home visits for the children? In home visits, what do they talk? What are the key messages to be given in the field? Now AI can personalize ECC content based on children needs and support Anganwadi workers with chatbots, instant guidance and activity suggestions. So this is all, you can see that how technology can support actually Anganwadi workers. And as I told you, for AI to, pilot upon, I think so Anganwadi system is the best one, the most huge one, and with the most potential, high potential where AI can find its way. Now coming to AI in program and systematic interventions, you can see that policy, you can see data-driven decisions, better planning, all of this, we are already using AI day-to-day everywhere. And now as we zoom out, zoom in from the Anganwadi worker to the system, now, how is AI actually transforming ECC at the program and policy level? Are we talking only about it in India, or we have some, figures from national and globally? No, we have interventions globally also. Let's go through this journey where we understand that how, nationally and globally we have interventions done on AI. Now, coming to the systematic advancement with the use of AI in the global context. First of all of us are aware, we all talk of sustainable development goals, which is 2030. And as all of us know that universal quality ECCE, and this is by 2030, one of the key essentials of SDG 4 of Sustainable Development Goals, where we talk that there should be universal quality ECC across the world. And we can see that one of the global reports which have been released is by UNESCO and UNICEF, where 155 countries have already committed for the use of AI for pre-primary education and use of AI and data tools to monitor equity gaps and track SDG progress. Already you can see that it is there globally. We are maybe we have just started understanding AI, but the world behind us, they have already used AI in many instances. And even AI competency framework for teachers, global framework for equipping, on ECC and AI skills. This is also, you can see that for the training curricula worldwide, universal quality ECC by 2030, AI competency framework is being chalked upon. Yeah, so it is not only India, but worldwide, there is a bloom of AI, which we have to take it forward. Now, coming to the next example, if you see the global evidence, you can see that UNICEF's 5-year digital education from 25 to 30, where we have priorities, AI powered adaptive learning for early literacy and numeracy, with a focus on offline friendly tools and gender disability inclusion. Okay, this is also another very, very big important component where you can see that in 2024 alone, 2.9 million out of school children enrolled in pre-primary education through UNICEF programs. This is another, achievement of AI. And all of us are been talking about smart classrooms. It could be GB Pant Agriculture University, or it could be SPNI, WCD, or any school. Now every school is a smart classroom, tech enabled with learning spaces, tinkering with tech. And you can see that a collaboration between UNICEF, ARM, and Raspberry. This is introducing hands-on AI literacy for young leaders using microbit devices. This has been already piloted in 2024 and expanding to over 7 countries in 2026. So all of us can understand how the use of AI not only in India but also globally. Now, coming to the next slide, let's see how India is advancing systematically right here, right now. And we can see smart classrooms. Already we have it in all the places in India where we have learning spaces. We have smart Anganwadi centers piloted in the country. We have AI powered Anganwadi worker training cascade. We have AI coaching nudges. We have training monitoring. All of us, we have discussed about Portion Tracker. We have got dashboards, dynamic dashboards, which are totally based on AI. And Niti Aayog, you can see that AI ranks districts by ECC outcome. In the aspirational district program of Niti Aayog, they have ranked districts by ECC outcomes. And this is done on a priority funding basis. Center Square Foundation, this is another organization which are using data analytics to track state level ECC budget utilization. You can understand how important it is that AI is being used at every level. And evidence based governance, where AI simulate impact of policy changes before the decisions are made. Now, these are some of the initiatives. Already I have mentioned few of them on the initiatives in India, where you can see that these are really being from smart Anganwadi pilots to every field of life. We have been integrating in EI in a very, very big way. Right? You can see like we have a Byju's app, we have got Khan Academy, we have got Sathi, Vedanta, we have got Sikho app, Cosmos, Diksha. All AI is transforming ECC in India by making learning personalized, inclusive, effective, and for every child. Now, I would like to mention some of the state best practices for Andhra Pradesh, since we are talking of ECC in the context of Ministry of Women and Child Development. You can see that in Andhra Pradesh already, several states, they are adopting AI, but in Andhra Pradesh, there is enabled ECD screening and interventions. Already Anganwadi centers they have been trained Anganwadi workers for early identification of developmental delays, AI-based risk prediction and personalized intervention plans, real-time dashboards for monitoring child progress. RLM, all of you are aware about it, that, daily ECC activity guidance shared with both Anganwadi workers and parents, supporting home-based learning through mother groups and ensuring continuity of learning beyond the Anganwadi center. And main thing is all is done in mother tongue language. So this is the importance where you can see how AI is being integrated. So we can see that learning, if you see in the slide, that learning does not stop at the Anganwadi door. AI ensures that it is also following the child home. This is another best practice of Andhra Pradesh. This is actually going to be launched. I just talked to them in the AI Anganwadi, which is in Hyderabad. It is the Izamia Bazaar in 2026. This is being introduced, but it will be launched where they are integrating artificial intelligence tools, interactive educational materials for improved physical infrastructure, and using modern AI and digital tools. Now coming to Maharashtra, recently I had been to Nagpur, and there was a presentation on ECCE, and I was very pleased to see this presentation where they had given the best practice. That is the India's first AI empowered Anganwadi. This is your AI powered Anganwadi in the Vadhamna 2025. They have already started this Anganwadi. This is the first AI Anganwadi in the country. This is at Vadhamna at Nagpur, and you can see that this is they have launched this program where you have real time monitoring, audio visual content, all based on the AI. And the second important contribution by the Maharashtra state, which are already very very ahead in ECCE. They have got their Akar, Ankur, and other this thing before the making of NEP 2020. Maharashtra is much ahead in ECCE. So they have got the Siksha Sati app. This is a WhatsApp-based AI assistant for Anganwadi workers, where multilingual support on child development and child development activities is being given. It provides guidance to Anganwadi workers and parents. Hyderabad, this is already I have mentioned this. Now coming to the most important system, which all of us know, and we talk about it in all our lectures. All of us are very much aware about the Bronfen-Brenner's ecological system, right? We can see that this is a crucial framework for understanding how AI fits into the bigger picture of child development. So maybe because it is the first session, it will be a useful slide for all the sessions to follow as well, where, in this model, it reminds us that child does not develop in isolation. The child is in the center, but within nested layers of family, community, society, and time. You can see that in the microsystem where the child is placed, the child's immediate environment of home. And the Anganwadi workers and caregivers, AI supports personalized learning and early detection. In the mesosystem, where you can see that there is connections between the home, school, and community, AI enables communication, parental engagement, and continuity of care. At the macro system, all of you can see that policies, culture, societies, norms, all these things exist. And at the chrono system, times and transitions. So AI is the most powerful when it comes to woven into every fabric layer. Now, in every plan of staging in home science, it could be nutrition, it could be ECC, it could be child development, it could be textiles. How can we integrate, AI at every fabric, in every layer? That is the key for us, and understanding AI to be at our disposal at every fabric. That is very very important. Now you see, as I told you, this is the AI-enabled ecological system and child development system, where AI is being woven into every level, may it be macro, meso, exo, micro, it could be chrono, anything, where how do we integrate, meaningfully AI into our help. Now coming to challenges and mitigation in AI and enabled in ECC, the challenges are very very important, because no transformation is without challenges. Any change, anything happening always comes with challenges. And if you are not willing for the change to happen, then you won't have transformation also. Those persons who actually wish to change have transformations. Who wish to change themselves, who wish to change, transform the world, can have, they can transform the world. So there is a saying that no transformation is without challenges. Let us be honest about the barriers we face, what are the solutions, what are the challenges we have, and what are the solutions we are actually building upon. So these are the challenges what we are using in with the use of AI in ECC, rural and urban areas. There are a lot of connectivity issues. All of us do agree. Even with the Poshan tracker in hand, we can see that Anganwadi workers, in remote places, they don't have connectivity. They have issues in which data is not being fed into the Poshan tracker. We have those issues, and the use of digital tools and monitoring systems is very, very important. Digital literacy gaps. That is also another very important point where the key grassroots functionaries are they enabled to, actually have this build up these gaps. That is very important. Actually, we have many trainings here being conducted on Poshan Bhi Padhai Bhi, and I regularly, I'm having my lectures in these programs. So we have supervisors coming with us, and you won't believe that I was really surprised to see that even Anganwadi workers and supervisors, with the coming of Poshan Tracker, they have become so tech driven. They are so much adapted with the phone. They know the applications much more well versed than us. So technology is not does not depend on whether you have a PhD degree or anything. You can even learn technology very easily with so many easy applications throughout. We have got device limitations. It could be outdated low end smartphones, which affect application performance and user experience. We have language and context barriers, which could be a very big problem for us, because local language is very important, and culturally relevant content is important for not only for ECC or any field. Data privacy and ethics, this is one of the most important things, where because we in ECC we are talking about safety and security of children. Are we having the right ethics to clear the safeguards and ethical standards of our children? This is another very important use, where we are now integrating the Aadhaar, Aadhaar number with the beneficiaries with the Poshan Tracker and other applications, Aadhaar card, UDID card, Swablamban card. Are these all, having this ethics standard? And coming to loss of human touch, this is the biggest thing which is coming up everywhere, that over reliance of AI may impact socio-emotional interaction and reduce child engagement and empathy. I would again like to reiterate that the touch of the human, the touch of the Anganwadi worker, the time she will spend with the children, the time the children spend with the parents spend with the children, that cannot be replaced with AI. So let's not replace, human touch with AI. Let's use AI for all the mundane tasks, which will save our time, and for the socio-emotional skills, which God has given us to only human beings, which is there present in us. Let us not, lessen that. Let's make full or use of the socio-emotional part of the human being. Let that not be, compromised with AI. Now, digital divide between regions, you can see unequal access to technology, training. We have already talked data privacy, limited infrastructure, low literacy among workers. All these things has to be taken care of. Here, AI is a powerful enabler in ECC, but it must be implemented inclusively, ethically, responsibly, and with a strong focus on equity and child well-being. Now, what are the mitigation strategies actually for use of AI in ECC? You can see that in the Poshan Tracker also we have got offline functionality. Even if the Anganwadi worker is not online, there is an offline functionality which is there, where Poshan Tracker will enable offline data entry. Data is stored securely when synced, and connectivity is available, and supports low connectivity in remote areas. Capacity building. All of you are aware that we are all government servants, and now, through the iGot Karmiyogi platform, we have to have, number of courses every year done on the iGot platform. All of you might be aware of it. If you're not aware, please log into iGot Karmiyogi, and you have numerous number of courses which you can do, and the courses are also on AI. If you want to learn about AI, iGot is the best platform where you can register yourself, and it has got 2 hours program, 3 hours program, 6 hours program, your basic understanding on AI and how you can integrate AI into various systems. So I would request all of you to also go through the iGot platform and undertake courses on AI. So you can see that regular training, handholding of Anganwadi workers, building confidence on the use of such tools is very, mitigation strategies. Device support, provision of smartphones, all these things are very important for optimization of low-end services. Then, multilingual content. All of you are aware about the Diksha software, I hope. This is by the Ministry of Education. You can see multilingual content available on the Diksha app. You have got data protection measures where, which safeguards sensitive child data. We have consent protocols and role-based access, secure data systems. Last but not the least, I would like to say human in the loop approach. Please don't allow your AI to be your master. It has to be your, you have to be the master, and you have to AI, you have to use as per your use. As Sarita Srivastava ma'am was telling in the beginning that AI पे आपने कुछ डाला और आपने भरोसा कर लिया कि जो आंसर आया सही है. It is 50%. It cannot be 50% true also. It can be 100% false also. So you have to know how, intelligently you can use the AI, right? How efficiently you can use the AI. Otherwise, it will ditch you completely. Okay. So, AI tools, you can see Chat GPT, Gemini, Cloud. Then, you have got AI mode, and there are many other things coming. So please confirm once whatever you take from AI, please have a confirmation around it. And those of you doing PhD, I would like to tell you that earlier methods were very good, where you had a lot of learning. And now, don't limit your learning by, limiting yourself from textbooks, from journals and other things. Please read. Reading is the best form, and use AI only at your disposal to reduce your work, not to take away your brain or your capacity of thinking. So, this is by addressing the challenges with the right strategies. AI can not only empower all others, including Anganwadi workers, it can strengthen systems and improve outcomes for every child. So this is the way forward. Last slide for all of you. I think I'm not out of time, Shristi. Right, one or two slides left. Right, this is the way forward. You can see smart solutions where you can see how important is the science for early child brain development. So we have to strengthen the digital infrastructure. Right, and since I am talking from Ministry of Women and Child Development, and my key focus is my Anganwadi worker, and how I focus, how I empower them. So capacity building of our frontline workers, it could be ASHA ANM also, it could be any from any other ministry, right? How do we actually help in capacity building by using AI, by using local tools, AI tools. And certainly, in all these fields, we have to be government and private and public all together. Partnerships is very, very important, because for understanding AI we need convergence and collaboration from all fields. Now integrating AI with ICDS and Poshan Tracker, all of us just told you how big the universe it is, and how big is an opportunity for all of us, to just understand how AI can help us. So another thing, AI is only a support tool. It cannot replace human beings. Now you can see many things telling that it will replace humans. You cannot have an AI Anganwadi worker, right? You cannot have an AI mother. You cannot have an AI father. Okay, so it cannot replace human beings, right? You have to focus on scalable solutions. You have to engage with the community participation. Monitoring and evaluation is the key. And for the education component, of course, we are all in alignment with the national education policy. So our collective vision for all of us throughout the session would be ECC. In context of ECC, it is the foundation of human development. AI can transform ECC systems, balance technology with human interaction, ensure inclusive and equitable education, aim for holistic child development. So the last slide, I would like to end that AI can only empower human efforts, okay, but it cannot replace it. Artificial intelligence is there not to replace the human touch, but to elevate human potential. It exists only to amplify it. At its best, AI handles the repetitive so that human can focus on what truly matters. Our empathy, our creativity, and meaningful connections should still remain the same. Thank you so much. Thank you all.